Hello, welcome to my channel WWE Pulse.
With so many legendary factions in WWE history, it can be difficult to choose just one as the greatest of all time. But one group that has a very good claim is Generation DX was the most rebellious and iconic faction of the Attitude Era. And in this video, we'll take a look at why they were so important to WWE. But before we get into it, make sure you hit that like button. Also, if you're not subscribed, well, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button because you don't want to miss any of our latest content. Now, let's get into it. When it comes to choosing the greatest faction in wrestling history, there are several groups that immediately come to mind. There's Evolution, the Four Horsemen, the NWO, and even the Shield. But one group that shouldn't be overlooked is Generation XND was the most rebellious and iconic faction of the Attitude Era. And although they weren't always portrayed as a good thing, they changed WWE forever. Before we get into how they changed WWE, though, let's take a look at where the group came from. The group originally started out as a stable known as the Clique. It consisted of Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, and eventually Shawn Walt. Now, some may say that the original concept of the group was a clique of friends who looked out for each other. Best interests in a business that was quickly becoming more commercialized. But when the WWF was fined $7.9 million for steroid use in 1994, it was revealed that the clique had broken the rules. They secretly brought in outside talent for creative input and to help write promos and angles, which went against the guidelines set by management. This caused tension between the wrestlers and management, which would later develop into the faction that fans fell in love with. On September 11th, 1996, Generation X officially debuted in the WWF. The members consisted of Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Chyna, and the recently heel-turned Sean Waltman, who was known as Sitcho Sid at the time. As a group, they broke every rule imaginable, from insulting authority figures to making fun of sacred things. There was no line that DX wouldn't cross. While this type of juvenile humor might seem played out today, back then it was completely different and it caught the audience off guard. In fact, during their first appearance on Raw, DX insulted the crowd in attendance, made fun of then WWF CEO Linda McMahon, and even spray painted the ring steps. This was a far cry from the family-friendly product that the WWF had become, and it shocked the entire wrestling world. As the weeks went on, DX continued to make a name for themselves by causing chaos and destruction wherever they went. At Survivor Series, they made their presence felt by invading the ring during the main event and attacking everyone involved. This led to a six-man tag team match at the following month as Royal Rumble event, where DX took on the team of Mankind, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and Kane. Despite being outnumbered, DX didn't back down, and after the match ended in a no contest, they stood tall over their fallen opponents. Following the Royal Rumble, DX began to pick up some steam. They started to win matches and gain popularity among the fans. However, their rise to the top didn't come without some setbacks. In February 1997, Waltman was arrested for burglary and possession of a controlled substance, and this led to his departure from the company. Although he would return later on, his brief absence left a void in the group that needed to be filled. At WrestleMania 13, DX took on the teams of Stone Cold Steve Austin and Dude Love and The Undertaker and the debuting Kane in a three-way tag team match. During the match, both Shawn Michaels and Triple H suffered injuries, which forced them to miss some time. This led to a bit of a DX hiatus as the remaining members tried to keep the group afloat. In August, DX finally made their comeback after Triple H returned from injury. He had undergone a transformation and now sported a new look. Gone was the short, skinny Hunter, Hearst Helmsley, and in his place was a muscular man known simply as Triple H. The new version of DX was more ruthless and violent than ever before. They continued to cause chaos and destruction wherever they went, and it seemed like nothing could stop them. That all changed. However, at the 1998 Survivor Series, DX went up against the Corporation in a 5-on-5 elimination match. The match was a brutal affair, with both sides taking their fair share of losses. But in the end, it was Triple H who delivered the winning blow, eliminating both Shane and Vince McMahon to win the match for DX. This victory was short. However, as the following night on Raw, DX lost a 10-man tag team match to the Corporation by... This led to a rematch the following week, but this time with a twist. If DX lost, they would be officially disbanded. Despite the high stakes, DX once again came out on top thanks to the timely interference of Kane. Although DX had retained their jobs, they were still at war with the Corporation. It was unlong before they found themselves in a legal battle with the company. On December 28, 1998, DX and the Corporation faced off in a lawsuit match at the Royal Rumble. The match was a no disqualification, no count out, anything goes, falls count anywhere bout. And just like the previous two encounters, it was incredibly violent. In the end, it was Triple H who scored the winning pinfall over Ken Shamrock to retain control of the WWF 40X. During this time, DX was at the height of their popularity. Their anti-authority antics and juvenile humor had resonated with fans, and they had become one of the most recognizable acts in the company. But it wouldn't last forever. In March 1999, Waltman was arrested again, this time for stealing someone's car. He was subsequently suspended by the WWF and eventually fired. This led to tension within the group as Shawn Michaels and Triple H blamed Waltman for bringing bad publicity to the team. Eventually, their issues came to a head and the group split up. Michaels and Chyna aligned themselves with Kane and formed a new group called Too Sweet. Meanwhile, Triple H brought in the recently returned X-Pac to form a new version of DX. The split was messy and it seemed like DX would never reunite. That is until 2006, when Triple H brought back the group for a brief time. DX's second run lasted only a few months, as Triple H once again departed due to creative differences. Michaels would go on to have a successful singles career, while Triple H would go on to lead Evolution and then become crew of WWE. Although DX is no longer active, their impact on the company is undeniable. It changed WWE forever and helped it become what it is today. So why was DX so important to WWE? First of all, DX helped change the image of WWE. When they first debuted, the company was in danger of being seen as a family-friendly cartoon. By breaking the rules and doing things that no one had ever done before, DX showed audiences that WWE was a real sport with real athletes. They also helped to usher in a new era of entertainment. DX was one of the first groups to really embrace the power of celebrity, and they used it to their advantage. They appeared on MTV and in movies, and they became cultural icons. Finally, DX helped to change the way that wrestling was promoted. They were one of the first groups to really embrace the internet and social media. They had their own website and they were constantly interacting with fans online. This helped to create a sense of community and loyalty that had never been seen before in wrestling. Overall, DX was an incredibly important group to WWE. They helped to change the company in a number of ways, and they will always be remembered as some of the most iconic wrestlers of all time. Do you agree that DX was one of the most important factions in WWE history? Why or why not? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. And if you haven't already, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button so you never miss any of our latest content. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Okay guys, thank you for watching my videos.